The bridge of the Eternal Crown remained silent. Everyone stared at Aethor Prime. Only one question filled their minds. What is the Celestial Gate? Beyond the observation windows, the galaxy continued to burn. Entire star systems vanished one after another. The Devourers were advancing. Time was running out. Aethor Prime slowly walked toward an ancient holographic device. Golden symbols appeared around him. The stars themselves seemed to respond. Then a giant map appeared above the bridge. Not a map of the galaxy, a map of something much larger. Something hidden beyond known reality. The officers watched in shock. Aurora could barely believe what she was seeing. The Celestial Gate, Aethor Prime said, was built before the First Empire, before the First War. Before recorded history, even Atlas Prime became silent. Its ancient databases contained only fragments. Nobody truly knew who built the gate. Nobody knew where its creators went. Only one fact remained. The gate was real. Aurora stepped forward. If the gate exists, how does it stop the Devourers? Aethor Prime looked toward her. Then he answered, "The gate is not a weapon." The bridge became silent. Several officers exchanged worried looks. If it wasn't a weapon, then what was it? Aethor Prime's expression darkened. "It is a prison." The words echoed across the room. A prison. A prison designed to contain cosmic entities. A prison powerful enough to hold beings capable of consuming galaxies. Thousands of years ago, the creators of the gate had imprisoned something inside. Something even worse than the Devourers. Suddenly, every display flashed red. Emergency alerts spread across the fleet. A new Devourer swarm had appeared. Not millions, not billions, not trillions. That the bridge froze. Even experienced commanders looked terrified. The invasion had begun. Far across the battlefield, Lord Malvek received the same reports. For the first time in his life, he ordered his fleets to stop attacking. The Crimson Dominion, the Solar Guardians, the Human Alliance. For one brief moment, they all shared the same enemy. King Zorath finally stepped forward. The room became silent. Every eye turned toward him. The king looked at the map, then at the Zorath Aurora. For a brief moment, neither spoke. They didn't need to. Both understood what was coming. Then Zorath spoke. "Prepare the fleet. Prepari Atlas Prime prilevo ship." The officers immediately moved. Command spread across the galaxy. The final defense was beginning. But before the meeting could end, Aethor Prime revealed one final truth. The Celestial Gate could only be opened by one individual, one person in the entire galaxy. One person connected to its creators. One person whose genetic signature matched the ancient records. The room fell silent. Aurora slowly turned towards Zorath, because she already knew the answer. And so did Aethor Prime. The gate was waiting for King Zorath. The revelation shook the galaxy, the Celestial Gate. The ancient structure older than history itself could only be opened by one person, King Zorath. For several moments, nobody spoke, not Aurora, not Atlas Prime, not even Aethor Prime. Every eye remained fixed on the king. Aurora Vance slowly stepped forward. Her expression was filled with questions she had carried for years. Questions nobody had ever answered. She looked directly at Zorath. "Who are you?" The bridge became silent. Even the stars beyond the window seemed frozen. For the first time, King Zorath smiled. Far beyond known space, the Devourer swarm continued advancing. Entire stars disappeared. Entire civilizations vanished. Darkness spread across the galaxy. The enemy was getting closer, and there was no more time for secrets. King Zorath finally activated a hidden archive, one nobody had ever seen before. Ancient images appeared above the bridge. An unfamiliar world, a civilization unlike any other. Gigantic celestial cities floating between stars. Structures larger than planets. Technology beyond imagination. The room watched in silence. Before the ancients, Zorath began. There was another civilization. Aethor Prime lowered his head. Atlas Prime stopped processing data. Every officer stared at the images, because they had never heard these words before. The first ones, the creators of the Celestial Gate, the builders of Atlas Prime, the architects of countless wonders scattered across the galaxy, and according to every historical record, they had vanished millions of years ago. Yet Zorath knew their story, because he had seen it. Aurora looked stunned. How do you know all of this? Zorath looked toward the stars, then quietly answered, because they chose me. The room froze. No one moved. No one breathed. Even Aethor Prime seemed surprised. At that exact moment, the Devourers attacked. Not aboard a world, not a military base. Their target was the Celestial Gate itself. Alarms exploded across every system. The giant holographic map turned red. Millions of dark entities changed course, heading directly toward the gate. Aethor Prime immediately understood. His face darkened. If the gate falls, the galaxy falls. Atlas Prime activated every combat system. Fleet commanders prepared their forces. Even Lord Malvek ordered his ships to join the defense. For the first time in history, every major faction was united. King Zorath stepped toward the command platform. Aurora stood beside him. The galaxy waited, then the king spoke. We hold the line, we protect the gate. And if the Devourers want this galaxy, they'll have to come through me. The bridge erupted into action. The greatest battle in galactic history was about to begin. The galaxy had never seen a fleet this large. Around the Celestial Gate, countless warships gathered from every corner of known space. The Solar Guardians, the Human Alliance, the Ancient Fleet, even the Crimson Dominion. Old enemies now stood side by side, not because they trusted each other, but because they had no choice. The Devourers were coming. Aboard the Eternal Crown, fleet commanders prepared for battle. Energy shields activated, weapons charged. Thousands of fighters launched from their carriers. The silence before the storm had arrived. Aurora Vance watched the tactical display. The enemy numbers continued growing, millions, then billions. The Devourers were almost here. Then sensors detected movement at the edge of the galaxy. The darkness split apart. A giant rift opened. One ship emerged, then 10, then 1,000, then millions. The Devourer swarm had arrived. The stars themselves disappeared behind the endless wave. Across every command center, fear spread. Veteran admirals stared in disbelief. No civilization had ever faced an enemy this large. Even Atlas Prime calculated only a small chance of survival, but King Zorath never looked away. He stood at the front of the bridge, watching, waiting. Preparing. Suddenly, the first attack began. A wave of dark energy crossed the battlefield. Entire squadrons vanished instantly. Warships exploded. Shields collapsed. The Devourers had fired first, and their power exceeded every prediction. Atlas Prime immediately entered the battle. The colossal machine moved forward. Its reactors burned brighter than stars. Ancient weapons activated, then Atlas Prime fired. A giant blue beam crossed the battlefield. Thousands of Devourers disappeared instantly. The Alliance fleet erupted in cheers. For the first time, the enemy had been wounded. Far away, Lord Malvek watched the battle unfold. For years he dreamed of defeating Zorath. Now he found himself fighting beside him. He hated it, but he understood reality. Fell, including him. Then something impossible happened. The Devourer swarm stopped. The battlefield fell strangely quiet. Even the enemy ships moved aside, making room for something larger, something older, something far more dangerous. A gigantic shadow emerged from the darkness. A Devourer king. Across the bridge, Aurora felt her heart stop. Even Atlas Prime registered an unknown threat level. Aethor Prime looked horrified. The ancient king whispered words nobody wanted to hear. He survived. King Zorath's eyes narrowed, because he recognized the monster 1,000 years ago. This was the Devourer he defeated, and now it had returned. The Devourer King looked directly at the celestial gate. Tenat, Zorath, Echoes the star, King Zorath. You failed. The galaxy froze. Then the monster smiled and charged toward the gate.